In keeping with this theme of creating positive habits, understanding your whys, developing stronger whys, better whys, and more whys, I also want to get into living intentionally in all aspects, which is something that I hold very dear. This is like a pretty core Nick philosophy, is living intentionally, meaning having a reason for doing what you're doing with everything. Why do I think in this pattern? Why do I eat at these times? Why do I sleep at these times? Why do I read the things that I do? Why do I engage in the behaviors that I do? Why do I talk the way that I do? Why do I laugh the way that I do? Why do I dress the way that I do? Why do I drink what I drink? Why do I eat what I eat? Why do I paint the walls of my house this specific color? Why did I choose the colors that I did for my branding? Right? Why did I, whatever. Just taking intentionality and just thinking through, like, why am I doing this? Because I think, so many habits have crept into my life just by accident. And sometimes they're not always, terrible, but if I don't have a reason to do something, then I really need to, as I'll talk about in a second, self-audit and figure out what's going on here, right? And so I feel as I continue to strive to do nothing by accident, that I feel so much more, again, in control. The only person who can run my life is me, as we've talked about in the past. Check out my necessary commentary in the car. That, I'm the captain of my life. And as the captain of my life, I should be the one who contributes the most to what actions I partake in, right? Not social programming or parental, upbringing or childhood memories or trauma or addiction or, anything. I should not be letting anything control my behavior other than me, other than this up here, right? And the more that I do that, the more that I go down this path, I feel so much more at ease with myself, because I know, like, you can ask me about anything that I do. Not right now. I'm just saying, like there's still plenty of things that I have to figure out. But, the goal is that you can ask me about anything that I do, even the smallest of habits, anything, and I'll have a specific answer. And this is something that I've always been big into, sometimes more than others. But now that I'm intentionally like, okay, I understand why this is beneficial, and I'm going towards that constantly, and especially with doing like real science-backed research on, different habits and different behaviors and, psychology and things like that, and I can kind of undo certain programmings and then reprogram things that I want. The difference is crazy. It's like absolutely wild, and I can't stress enough how much better I feel. Right? And that's kind of the whole deal, is that I think it's so easy to get caught up in optimization that it becomes like an addiction in itself, in like making things better. But it's really, optimization exists for efficiency and quality of life, right? So if I'm focusing so much on every little tiny thing that it's making me insane, then like, hold on, dude. But if I just think about it, what toothpaste do I like, and why do I like it? It tastes good, makes me feel fresh, right? It's supposed to be pretty good, 9 out of 10, right? So there you go. In order to continue to pursue this, you have to study to find a reason to do the habit that you're doing, or don't do that habit, right? Because if, say I do my homework on the way that I brush my teeth, since we're already on that topic. If I do my homework on that and I realize that, there's a better way to do it, then now there exists this problem of like, the way that I'm doing it is suboptimal and not, I already know how to do it better, so I might as well switch over. Or, maybe I do the research a little bit and I find out that a habit that I have is completely irrelevant. Point being, if you can't find a reason for the behavior that you continuously engage in, then don't do it. Erase it. It's that simple. It's just, if I can't find some sort of, logical element in something that I'm doing, then why am I doing it that way? And so I can just shoo that off and usher in a replacement that would make so much more sense, right? And then there we have it, another aspect of living intentionally, right? So now I'm not just like this thing that just happened by accident, right? Oh, I just sit in a chair like this because I always have. It's like, why do I do that? That's a little bit of a weird example, but you understand what I'm saying, right? And, replacing the habits with the new ones. So just kind of taking a self-diagnosis and looking through your habits, because this is the thing that I think is kind of the hardest and requires the most amount of attention, is taking the time to look through every habit that you have and dissecting it and understanding as to why. Because sometimes you don't need like hours of research and science and all this stuff to figure out that like that's probably not the best thing. I could be doing that better, right? But the audit is crucial. The audit is crucial. If you never take a look, you're not going to really find ways to improve what you're doing. And there's so many things that go unnoticed, right? And one big area that I use this in is cleaning, because I'm in charge of cleaning in my household, right? And so this is something that super highlights every aspect of this, essentially, where I all the time have to check the way that I do things. Why do I wash dishes in the way that I do them at the time that I do them, and is that optimal? Well, if I leave them sit there, suddenly we have flies in an instant because we live in Florida, right? If I do them right after I'm done, it's much better. So therefore, replace that habit with the old one, right? And therefore, living intentionally, right? It's not just like, oh, I just do dishes when I do dishes. No, I have a plan as to why I do dishes at this time, because it is the best, or it is at least better than I did it before, because I feel like there's always room for more optimization, right? I can't argue enough that living intentionally will be better always than just living by default. And this goes for, the way that you work, to the way that you clean, to the way that you think, right? You can always restructure anything in your life because you are in control. You're in control. This is 101, man, of improvement. And this is something that, I always kind of knew, but not to the extent that I'm aware now. And there's just so many, like, as I continue to improve even this tiniest things, I realize, like, dude, there's really nothing in my life, in my mind, on my body, in my body, that I can't fix and make better, right? And so why would I not? Why would I not? What would be the benefit of not pursuing that greatness,